Welcome to the Invisible Marketer Podcast. I'm your host, Goina. In this episode, we're kicking off a special two-part series on the power of podcasting for introverts. In this episode, we are diving in to the pitfalls of social media and how a podcast could be the best solution for avoiding the worst pitfalls that comes along with being on social media. If you would like today's show notes, head on over to community.invisiblemarketer.com. Let's dive on in. I want to give you an idea of what really just pushed me over the edge this past time to launch another podcast. Before starting the Invisible Marketer podcast, I thought that all I needed to do was to start putting my face out there on social media and that I was going to finally have a breakthrough. After spending just a couple of months doing that, I found that I could not be more wrong. I came to a breaking point in my business. I've been posting every single day for 2 months, and I really started dreading making content every single day and every single week. It was taking so much of my day just to record short form videos. My stress levels were through the roof. I had major anxiety and stress because I just couldn't figure out what to say. I knew that if things didn't change, I was headed down a path where I was just going to give up and lose all progress that I had made so far. I really started questioning, is this really worth it? I knew that I couldn't be the only one out there that was feeling this way. I was positive that other introverts would feel the same way. I wanted to help solve the problem. So I started testing out various strategies. As I was reflecting, I started thinking about my experience from 2022 when I started a podcast. I still remember the amazing feeling of being able to speak into the mic and be heard. I wasn't stressed out making the content, and it became an outlet for me. Now, with the Invisible Marketer podcast, I have had such an amazing experience over the past couple of months. I get to interview some of the most amazing introverts and guests, being able to hear their stories of overcoming some of their biggest challenges and how it has changed their lives has been so inspiring and constantly gives me that encouragement to keep going. There's really 4 pitfalls that I have found about social media that I want to share with you throughout the rest of this episode. The first one is content creation can be a true nightmare as an introvert, or if you are new to trying to launch your brand. I've spent the last 90 days getting better and more confident and being better at it, but learning how to record, getting that great lighting, knowing what to say every single time you step in front of that camera are just some of the ways that it can be a nightmare, especially if you're an introvert. My phone is full of clips and retakes of me trying to practice saying what I want to say in those 30 to 60 second videos. I don't want to discourage you to put yourself out there because I've went through so much personal growth and self-discovery, but I am hoping to share some ways that you can avoid the worst part of the content creation process. With podcasting, it takes me 1 hour to record the episode. I use those clips as my content for the entire week. I create at least 7 short form videos from that content. The editing part of the podcast takes me about 4 hours a week. I schedule the content on YouTube for the whole week, so I don't even have to worry about it all week. The next thing is I publish the content that I can't schedule, and that takes me about 5 minutes per day. If you hate creating content and you're trying to promote your products or services or just get your message out there and you really do not like the content creation process, podcasting can simplify that for you by giving you one long form video that you can clip up and you can turn into several pieces of content, including written and video content. The second thing that I want to share with you is the reach is just horrible in the beginning. If you have no following, you will find that in most cases, you can put all that work and effort into creating content and you get very low reach. It takes time for that algorithm to figure out what kind of content you're creating so that they can start pushing it out to the right people. The fact that you are new can also cause people to swipe away because many times they can tell that you're new and you don't have that credibility built up yet. Have you ever heard of Mr. Grateful? He is this huge introvert that started on Instagram, and he grew really quickly because of his content on AI. He hired ChatGPT-4 to become a agent for him to help him grow his account to 100,000 people in 90 days on Instagram. And he was able to achieve it. But cases like that is very rare. His channel is all about AI technology, and he has gone on to speak at Mind Valley conferences and many other huge stages due to him becoming so famous in a short period of time and the work that he does with AI technology. But his case is a very rare thing. Like, it just doesn't happen every day. I have found that with podcasting, especially if you are interviewing and networking with others, you gain a whole different level of credibility than if you're just going out there posting every day. You gain more credibility through podcasting than you do social media. There is also just a different perception of people that have podcasts that you don't get when you're a new customer or creator starting on social media. You don't have to be the expert. You can bring in other people that are experts and learn and grow with each episode. Are you enjoying today's episode and feeling inspired by the stories and the strategies that you are hearing? I would like to personally invite you to be a part of a community that is filled with people from all walks of life. Inside of there, you will discover a welcoming space filled with fellow introverts and entrepreneurs who share their knowledge, exchange ideas, and support each other's growth. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or you're new to this journey, our community is here to empower you every step of the way. You can gain access to exclusive training, insightful discussions, and valuable networking opportunities by joining our community today. Let's collaborate, learn, and grow together. Head on over to community.invisiblemarketer.com and become part of our amazing family. So lesson number 3, the next thing that I noticed is that social media content has a short lifespan. Unless it's posted on YouTube, blogs, or on podcasts, we can spend all this time, all this effort into creating this content for people to view 3 seconds of our video. If we don't have the right hook, it gets really discouraging that even if we have a good hook, that people may not see it unless they view it within 24 hours. Chances are they're not going to see it at all. The algorithms only push the content out for a short period of time. Engagements and reactions have an impact on the lifespan of the content as well. Starting my podcast allowed me to have an indefinite lifespan of my content because it will be hosted on podcasting platforms like Apple, Amazon, Spotify, YouTube for as long as these platforms exist. And with my first podcast, that content is still getting me downloads every single week. And I have not done anything with that or promoted that podcast in over 2 years. I think the one that really drove me nuts the most about social media is that you are forgettable. If you take a break or need a week off from posting content, I don't know about you, but I get overwhelmed at being seen and visible all the time. We need that time away. And unfortunately, social media doesn't care. Many times when you come back, the algorithm has lost you and your reach goes way down. I had this happen to me just last week. My engagement was cut in half because I took a couple of days off of social media. And it really breaks my heart that as introverts, as content creators, as influencers, that if we take time away from being visible and being out there on social media, it could ruin our business. We are forgettable until we establish a loyal base of people that watch our content. And then we get people reaching out to us saying, hey, are you okay? Like, we get worried when we don't see people on social media for a while and that we have been used to following. But until you get to that point, this is what you have to deal with. You have to stay consistent until you get that many people following you and really becoming fans of what you do. But that constant pressure of showing up on social media is not for everyone, especially me, and especially if you don't have a huge team. If you are someone that is wanting to get that time freedom and that is what you're starting your business for, it doesn't really help if you're constantly spending so many hours on that content creation hamster wheel. With podcasting, I found that it's so much more flexible and you're able to have that impact that you're wanting to have. I've also noticed that podcasters have seasons, so they can take their scheduled vacations and take that time away to do the things that they want to do. During that time, I've seen them bring back old episodes, maybe their most popular episodes, and they just republish them. I've also seen them not upload anything for a couple of months and just advertise that they're starting their podcast back up on a specific date. Their listeners know that that's the date that they're going to bring their podcast back. The other thing is that you can record the interviews or episodes for a whole month in just a couple of hours. You can build up the content to where you have your content planned out for months. So it really offers a flexible solution that will keep you from having to be consistently out in the public eye and visible on social media. Those are the 4 pitfalls that I have found for social media and how you can avoid them by starting a podcast. My hope for you is that you walk away thinking maybe podcast is something that I can do. If you are on social media and you feel like it's going nowhere, or maybe you're not getting in front of the right people, you're not seeing the results that you feel like you should see because you're not staying consistent enough in your content, if you've been giving it your all and you're just not being heard or seen, I encourage you to give podcasting a try. Even if you already have a social presence but are just overwhelmed with all the things of trying to create content as a solo entrepreneur. Podcasting made everything so much easier, and I'm not constantly stressed. I'm not constantly overwhelmed by all the things. I just want to leave you with this final thought. Creating content doesn't have to be a constant battle. Podcasting can be your way to share your voice and connect with others in a way that's good for you. If you're feeling overwhelmed, remember that it's okay to try something different. Don't be afraid to pivot and find the exact process that works best for you. You have a unique voice and a story that there are so many people out there waiting to hear. Thank you for listening to the Invisible Marketer podcast. I hope you found inspiration and value from my experiences and journey that I shared with you in today's episode. If you would like to get today's show notes, head on over to invisiblemarketer.com/community. As always, keep tuning in to discover even more strategies that are tailored to using your superpower of being an introvert to go out and make an impact. I will see you next time.